What's up, Wargamers? Welcome back to World of Wargaming. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the strategic layer of County Road Z. This is my first time going through this part of the game, so there are a couple of mistakes, one of which that I want to point out ahead of time is that the skills and stats that I give the recruit that I found. There are some things that I had planned that in order for them to work, he has to be set up a certain way. So that first character you see me do, Ray, the only different thing is that instead of strength and heavy weapons, he will be having cooperation and utilities because I need him to be able to do a certain job. That being said, let's go ahead and get into taking a look at how to operate the strategic layer for County Road Z.
Alright friends, so as promised, we're going to dedicate this video to just looking at the strategic layer for County Road Z. So first thing would be spend XP, which we did at the end of the last game. So we're at creating new survivors. So I found a tier 1 survivor. So to find what to do with a tier 1 survivor, you need to look in the community building section, not the character creation section. Or at least not yet. Rookies are tier 1. They have all their stats at 0. Nope, they have one stat at 1, the rest are at 0. They only have one skill, but it's never randomly generated. So if you have a tier 1 survivor, you're always going to get to pick that one skill that they have. As you move up, normally I think it's you get to pick one of them, and then some of them are randomly generated. So it's a mix of the two. So you get to pick one to create a little bit of backstory, but then the rest we let RNG decide for us. So for the friend that I found, his name will be Ray. Tier 1, no XP or XP spent yet. I'm going to put his strength at 1, and I'm going to give him heavy weapon because he's carrying a sledgehammer. He was driving railroad spikes maybe when everything went down. Excuse me. But he's going to be level 0, and then with a stat of 1, the shoddy weapon that he starts with will give him -1 for a total modifier of 0. And that's all we have to do with this sheet. Obviously we'll move and defense, those are always going to be your default 6 items, health, all that carrying capacity as well as the health will both be equal to their tier level, which is 1. Next step is material. So last time I rolled and I got 4 food. Now when you find your first base, it comes stocked with everything that you will need, or it comes stocked with a max of its resources. So at the end of this turn I technically have 8 food. Now that food can go bad, but it won't go bad until later because your maximums and spoilage are checked at the very end after consumption. So right now my base that I've just found is sitting at 4 hardware, 8 food, and 4 fuel. Healing wounds would be if you would assign someone to heal during the last campaign turn. Now is when they would heal up. I don't have that because it's my first mission. Same with adding facilities and upgrades. Haven't done that yet. And next in the planning phase is then you move to the planning phase. This is where you would assign people to operate facilities. Right now I don't have any facilities to operate. However, the next step, assigning the project team, this is something that I need to do. I need to get some food. I need to get some power. I need to spend some time working on the base. So my next turn, I'm not actually going to play a game on the table. I'm going to be spending that turn working on the base. So with this, you generate labor. Your labor is equal to the sum of all the tiers of the survivors that are on the project team. So if my project team is Tabitha and Ray, Tabitha is tier 3, Ray is tier 1, that would produce 4 labor. My project team is going to have to be a little bit more than that because of what I want to do. Okay, so I need a total of 5 labor to do what I want to do. My goal is to build a garden in the outside plot, as well as to build a utility station in the garage, which is an inside space, but it's extra space. So to do that, I need, for the utility station, I need 3 hardware, which I got, and 3 labor. So that'll be 1 tier 3, probably Tabitha. Next, I come to my garden, which requires 1 hardware and 2 labor. So that will use up all the hardware that I had laying around the house to get some systems up and running. So my project team then is going to be Tabitha and Declan, which will give me a total labor of 6, so that extra labor just gets lost. Next, if you had anyone who was injured, you would assign them to rest and heal. If they have less than their maximum health points, you can assign them. Only one survivor can rest during any turn, and rest restores 1 health point. And then medical facilities, medical staff can alter that. Next is you assign your mission team. I will not have a mission team next time. However, I am going to send Ash, who is my scavenger, out to try to find some food. So he'll come back with, I think, 1 food next round. So we're gonna be a little bit hungry next round. And then that does it for the planning phase. Then we go to the management phase. So the first thing we would do here is check for rot. You check for rot if a hero was reduced to 0 health. It's a tier check with a target number of 12 minus the combined medical score of all medical clinic staff. If they fail, they turn and they take another survivor down before they are caught and killed. Next, it's time to eat. So your tier 3, your tier 4 survivors, they will eat 2 food per round, or per turn, per campaign turn. Your tier 1s and 2s will only eat 1. Right now I have 8 food, and I need 7. So everybody's going to eat this turn. We've just gotten into this house. I had all kinds of Chef Boyardee and everything else laying around in the cabinet. So we're going to eat good this turn. However, if you need more food than you have, that number that's left over is your hunger score. You subtract the hunger score from the total population, and if the result is negative, all survivors get their stats reduced by that number until the next turn's management phase. And remember to adjust your survivor skill scores accordingly for the turn. After we eat, we sleep. It's nap time. We're full or we're hungry, but either way, we're going to bed. So here we subtract beds from population, and if we have more people than we have beds, the difference is your exhaustion score. If your exhaustion is higher than the number of survivors on the mission team, you remove a survivor from that team. The survivor is idle that turn while suffering from the depths of sleep deprivation. After food and sleep, we figure unrest. So unrest is going to be the general discontentment or contentment of the community. Your unrest is equal to your hunger plus your exhaustion. Right now, I've got 4 people and 4 beds, and everybody ate this turn. So right now, my hunger and resting situation is just fine. Next turn, it's going to be a little bit rough. After you figure out what your unrest is, you check your storage. Anything that you have that is over the maximum allowed by the base storage goes bad. Either the food spoils or the wires are corroded or whatever happens. Something happens where that material, that resource just becomes unusable. Next, we check the horde. Because as we're making noise, we're building stuff, we're trying our best to survive and carve out a little bit of, I don't know if I call it life, but a survival for ourselves. We will over time attract zombies. So that's represented as siege threat. And it's calculated by adding together the number of staffed facilities, number of survivors in the project team, and base features that affect threat, as well as the number of campaign turns that have passed since the last siege. You recalculate this number every turn. So during the step, you roll a d10, add the current siege threat, and if the total is higher than 15, the siege defense mission must be picked during the next choose mission step. So to illustrate, right now I am 0 turns since the last siege, because there hasn't been one yet. I have 0 staffed facilities. I do, however, have survivors in the project team. So I've got 2 on the project team. I don't have anything that affects threat. And so I'm adding 2. So I'm going to roll a d10 and add 2 to it. 2 plus 4 is not greater than 15. So we're fine. And at the end of the next turn, we check that again. And then lastly, we have departures, which is the chance that people will just turn tail and run away. If your unrest is ever higher than your siege threat, the lowest tier survivor at the base leaves. If there's more than one, you choose one. If they were staffing a facility, that facility counts as having never been staffed. If they were on the project team, you subtract their labor from the pool. And if their tier is higher than the remaining labor, you choose one project that goes unfinished. No new survivors. Materials added to storage, this I do get. Now, because Ash has the scavenge ability, when he goes out on his own to collect things, he comes back with one of each. So my fuel, food, and hardware will each go up by one. Since I'm not going to be playing a mission during the next tactical layer, I'm going to go through this again for my second campaign turn, because now there will be some things that are going to affect me and modify me. It's not going to be as peachy keen as it was the first time. So again, no mission phase this campaign turn. No characters to advance. I have no wounds to heal. I do have my facilities and upgrades, however, that will be finished at this point. So that's my garden and my utility station. So I'm going to add those to my sheet. Ray is going to run the utility station, and it will provide 1 water to the garden, which will mean the garden will passively produce 3 food. It's 1 base and then 2 more for having water going to it. I'm also going to, I think I'm going to do 1 more turn of just management, so that I can get a turn of getting this food in effect, and getting some things in place. So Tabitha is going to be assigned, well, if that's the case, no, I want to rework. All right, so I'm going to rethink my plan. So Ash is going to be Tabitha, hold on, I gotta think for a second. So Ray's gonna man the power station, producing water. Tabitha is gonna staff the kitchen to make some food because she's got a good cooperation score, and I need to send Ash out to scavenge. Declan is going to be assigned to the project team, and he is going to upgrade the fence. I have 1 hardware remaining right now, so he is going to upgrade the fence, or the garden, with a fence to keep the rabbits out to up that food production. Done, I'm hunkering down. No resting to do. Mission team, not going to matter because I'm not missioning. However, I am going to send Ash out to scavenge. No rot. Time to feed people. So I need a total of 7 food, and I have a total of 2 food. So I subtract my hunger score, which is 5, from my community's total population, which is 4, and that relieves me with a negative number, a -1. So my stats and stuff for the next mission until the next management would be reduced by 1, which is okay because I'm not going out on a mission next turn. But after the end of next turn, I will be going out because I should have my food situation more or less straightened out. So then we go to assigned beds. I still have enough beds for everybody to sleep in, so that's not an issue. My unrest right now would be 5 plus 0, so my unrest would currently be 5. You can trade food and fuel for equipment, not for each other. Check storage, so I will have one of my fuels that will go bad, dropping me back to 4, and we will check the horde. So siege threat is 4 because I have 2 staffed facilities, 1 person on a project team, and it's been 1 turn. So I'm at 4. That's a 4, 8, not greater than 15. We're okay. Unrest plus my siege threat is currently, luckily, not higher than 10. So nobody's going to run away. 1 more time, and then we're going back out on a mission. I'll generate my food, so that'll be 1 from the kitchen and 3 from the garden, plus the 1 that I brought back from the mission, bring me to a total of 5 food at the moment. My fence upgrade on the garden will finish. I'm going to keep Ray. Actually, yeah. I'm going to keep Ray running the generator for now. Not going to build anything right now. No rest or healing. Mission team is going to be Ash, Tabitha, and Declan. No rot to check for. Gotta feed people. I currently have 5 food, so I'm going to come up 2 short. So my hunger score is going to be 2. Sorry, I did that wrong. The remaining number is my hunger score. So my hunger score is 2. So I subtract 2 from my community's total population, which is 4, which is 2, which is not a negative number, so I will not have any poor stats when I go out on my next mission. Plenty of beds for everybody. My unrest right now is a 2, and I will lose 1 fuel to storage, to spoilage. We check the horde, so I have 1 person on a facility, no one on the project team, 2 turns. So right now my siege threat is 3. I cannot possibly get a 15. 10. Siege threat is 3, so also I'm not going to have anybody run away. I feel like I've got a pretty solid start. Like I'm going to have a fair amount of food coming in next round. I'm going to have water to the garden. So it's time to go out and do some legitimate scavenging. So next time we gather to play some CRZ, we're going to be hitting the table for the tactical layer. Thanks for coming by, sticking around, sitting through this video as we suss through how everything works. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, my friends, may the dice be ever in your favor. And as always, I'd like to say a big, huge, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to our patrons who support us and pledge to us over on Patreon. You guys are the absolute best. If you enjoyed the content you saw here today and that's something that you would like to consider doing to help out the channel, go over there, check out the link in the description, check out the Patreon. There's a lot of cool stuff over there, including access to our Discord server. Talk to me, hang out with me, talk about our work, what we got going on in the hobby, some shout outs, all kinds of cool stuff. Check it out if that's something that you think you would be into. And regardless of whether or not you do that, I want you to know that I am incredibly grateful that you decided to stop by and spend part of your day with me today, rolling dice and pushing toy soldiers around. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, may the dice be ever in your favor.